not too long ago, I was out shopping with my cousin. We'll just call her the cuz. And we were out clothing shopping at a pretty well-known woman's, like, not high-end, low-end retail store. And we were browsing through the racks and, you know, doing what girls do, like looking at shoes and like, shoes, oh my God, doing all that fun stuff. And my cousin actually said something. She stopped at one of the racks and she said something about the price tag on one of the pieces of clothing. And what she said was, more specifically, is that she thought that particular piece of clothing was too expensive for that store. And my response to what she said actually shocked me. I was not expecting to say something like this. I had never really voiced an opinion like this out loud. But basically, what my response to her comment was, I don't like paying full price for cheap clothing because it's not going to last. And it shocked me because I'm a fashion designer, so it's really weird for me to not want you to pay full price for something. You know, I'm supposed to be like the advocate for like, pay retail price. But, you know, I really shocked myself when I said this out loud, and I questioned my morals and had to do some soul searching. Thought it was like this, I was like, oh my gosh, am I in the wrong industry? Like, what? So after my long soul searching of, you know, why I felt this way, because I really want to dig down to the root of the problem, no pun intended, and find out why I said this, I realized that I actually was not angry at the quality. I wasn't angry at the price. I was angry at the quality. And I decided to kind of define quality, what quality is for myself. And what I realized was quality is kind of it's a very subjective thing, but another major thing about me when I was defining quality, a major word that kept coming up was the word value. And I kind of realized that I don't really know what value is. Like, how do you really define value? It's a really specific and loaded word. So, of course, I did what most, you know, people my age do, and I Googled value. And, of course, did not like the definition that I came up with. But I did arrive at this question of trying to define, so I made this my mission, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, and that's what exactly is value and how I tricked myself into caring more about it. So for me, value, like I said, I looked up Google, didn't like the dictionary definition, and I realized I didn't like the dictionary definition because the actual series of events that led me into questioning this quality was an emotional one, and I felt that I needed an emotional response or answer to this question. So for me, I collected a bunch of different ideas of what value could be or is to myself, and I kind of settled on two separate sections or sets of values. And those two sets of values are the material or perceived set of values and the actual or self set of values. Now, the material or perceived set of values are basically just that. They're what you see, they're perception. You know, it's the reason why we tell men to buy really expensive, really well-made suits is because we equate looking really good with someone of high value. So that I just want to demonstrate to you what exactly that means because I'm in fashion and I like to change my clothes a lot. So I'm going to strip for you on stage. Not that kind of strip. But I'm going to actually show you this idea at work. So, yes, shirt first. Excuse my bedhead. This is a lot easier at home. Trying to do this as graceful as possible, and it's just not happening. She doesn't want to go on. Et voila. So what just happened, right? you sat up in your seats, you got interested, your brain was like, oh, okay. Basically, you took me more serious, right? Because that perception or that perceived value that you already had came into play with me and my sweats versus put together Dom. So that's your material or perceived value at work. We do this all the time. On the other end of that spectrum is the actual or self set of values. And what those are well, more romantically what they are, what's inside, you know? What's on the inside that counts. Our actual or self set of values often get kicked out the way by our material or perceived set of values. And a good example of this actual or self, the actual value of something or a thing or a service, is those pair of leather pants that you bought on sale because it made your ass look really great. And you wore them one time at like your best friend's birthday party that Friday, and then you never wore them again because it was like such a huge waste of money, but you had to have them. Instead of buying those like really smart wool pants that you could have worn to work every day for like 10 years. So instead of buying those really, really smart pants, we bought the really, really tight leather pants, and we wound up losing out on that inherent value in those really great trousers. We do this all the time. I used to think that these two things were completely separate entities. I did not think they were related at all. I thought that they were really, really complete on opposite ends of the spectrum. But what I came to find out was that they're not. They're actually directly related to each other. They actually are directly correlated to each other, and they push each other to create this cycle that we don't even know is happening within ourselves, and it changes how we interpret and understand the world around us, and especially when it comes to our own personal world of commerce. We do this all the time. It manifests itself in comparisons. For example, is our house better than theirs? Is John's 52-inch TV better looking than mine? Is our baby prettier than theirs? We do this all the time. It's something that's very inherent within our characteristic, and it just happens very often with humans. I'm not innocent. I do this too. I do it all the time. I'm in fashion. I had to think back to the first time that I actually became aware that I did this. And what I found was it's back when I was maybe 17 or 18 years old, like it was that long ago, 17 or 18 years old. And I was in high school, and my high school art teacher told me about this fair trade store here in Philly called 10,000 Villages. And I knew what fair trade was. We learned about it for like 4 seconds in social studies. I knew the concept of it. I had never been to 10,000 Villages, so I had never really experienced fair trade up close. I mean, I was born and raised in West Philadelphia. There's not a lot of fair trade happening there. So, seriously. So, I had never really in person experienced this concept or, you know, seen what it was like. So I went past 10,000 Villages. I was immediately distracted by the pretty stuff in the window, went inside, and was browsing around at all the little tchotchkes and textiles and cool things, and like, oh my God, all this stuff is handcrafted and it's beautiful. And I stopped on a set of pillows, I think, or tablecloths it was, and I was just like, wow. So I decided eventually I had to look at the price tag, right? So I went to go look at the price tag to see how much this would cost, and instead, something really interesting and magical happened. Instead of the price, I found the name of the person who actually made that particular item, and it had their signature on it. Well, actually, it wasn't their name. It was their actual, like, physical signature and where it was made. I thought that was really, really cool. I had never seen anything like that before, and ironically, it was the first time that I had ever begun to care about the creator behind the creation, which is really strange because I'm a creator myself. But it was really that first time I actually started to just consciously think about who made this particular item. And that really kind of helped shape what my perception of true value really is. It really, to me, became about, it started to become the peer-to-peer relationship that you develop when you are aware of who created whatever you're buying, whether it be it service or item or whatever. And that really became part of my DNA. And every time I went into a store after that, no matter, I know I was gonna find it, but I would check the tags anyway to see if there was like a signature on there. And it just, of course, it didn't happen. It happened in any other store but 10,000 Villages. But it just kind of became a part of it was second nature. And I thought, that's a really interesting idea, that this thing that just kind of ingrained itself in my DNA, I wonder, I subconsciously tricked myself into like thinking, who made this, where did it come from? I tricked myself into caring, and I wonder if anyone else would be able to do this too. So here's what I propose. I propose that we start viewing clothing shopping like we do grocery shopping. I think, how many of us go into a grocery store, we look at a box of chips or whatever, and we turn the box over immediately to check the calories, right? We care about what we put in our body, so it's pretty important that we should care about what we put on it, if that makes any sense. And I really started to think about, how we could trick ourselves into doing that. So what I think that we should actually have clothing tags that have little like nutritional facts labels of fashion on them. And I think that instead of saturated fat, there should be like a picture of the face of the person who made it. And instead of like, I don't know, sugars, there should be like the hours that was spent making it, where it was made. It should be signed by the person who made it. I think this would help change our peer-to-peer relationship when it comes to this world of commerce and how we view the things that we buy. So next time you guys are out shopping, just saying, next time you're out shopping and you find that really great-looking suit or coat that you want to buy and you're questioning the price, just look at that tag and imagine a person's face on there and their signature, and imagine how long they took making it, and just maybe you'll trick yourself into caring just like I did. Thanks, everybody.